You're listening to REI USA Podcast, your prime resource for genuine real estate growth. If you want to jumpstart your real estate career, whether in active or passive investing, this is the right show for you. Join professional home renovator Stacy as she talks to REI USA teachers and expert investors willing to share their tips and tricks to get started in investing, sharing actionable advice in every area of real estate, all while putting legality, habitability, and safety above everything else. Combine their unparalleled advice with your strong drive for success, and that incredible real estate fortune will be yours. Now, here's your host, Stacy.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Oh, I'm excellent. Thank you so much. And I've been here since the beginning, but it was not 7 a.m. So I commend you guys. I tell you, I put these on and Stacy, thank you so much for putting these on. I mean, you guys have no idea what it takes to get all this going and getting it all together. And what a great resource. And I'm sure if anyone here has ideas for Stacy, for a summit like this, another type of summit, send them, because I learn, I try to attend when I'm speaking with you here. I try to attend as many of them as I can, while we're here that day. And man, I'm so glad I was here early because I got so much already.
Well, so a lot of people, like back in the day, a lot of people ask me, like, why did you start the South Atlanta REIA? I mean, honestly, the truth is I started it so I could be like in front of everybody all the time. I got to hear like so many amazing speakers and stuff. And it's the same concept with REI USA. It's like, I get to hear all this stuff all the time. So it keeps me up to date too.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story with that too in a second. So, well, I don't have any really nice presentation like these guys did, but I have a lot to say, of course, always.
Tell us also what you think about the market too.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So let me start with my screen share and, again, like I said, I normally have a PowerPoint. I didn't do it for 30 minutes. I thought, I got a lot to say. Let me just use this form here. So, as you can see, guys, there's so many different ways to raise 100,000 in 100 days. You might have started and going, well, that's not what I was expecting to hear, but, short sales, what a great idea. Wholesaling, what a great idea. So I'm going to spend time here. So definitely be ready to take notes or screenshots. I'll send this out. My email there is support@darbuyshouses.com. I'll send it out to you if you want a copy of what this is. There's going to be some good resources of money people on here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But, to talk about how to fund your deals, Stacy started this morning about talking to your friends and get them to be private lenders. Definitely, you have no idea, and some of you have money sitting there and doing nothing with it, but you don't really know how to do real estate yet. You have to build your alliances, build your networking. And I am not a born extrovert. I had to work hard to get to the place to talk to you guys and to talk to strangers. And some of you guys, hey, I know a lot of you here and, and you go, no, Darlene, you're kidding. But, 30 years in real estate has gotten me to the place that I can speak here very comfortably and I can shoot from the hip, and I don't have to have everything prepared in advance, although I'm very prepared. I'm that kind of person. I started selling encyclopedias for 5 years back in Buffalo, New York in the 80s when the steel industry was shutting down. And, that 4 generations in the steel mills didn't think that, their kids needed education. So it was a great learning experience. And, real estate is marketing, sales, advertising, and networking, building your dream team. So when I thought about it from the perspective when I was getting ready for this 30 minutes, from the perspective of just getting started, because it's tough. It's tough to listen to Mike and Darlene and all these people who now, after 30 years, I'm going to tell you how I fund my deals. but you're just getting started. So let's look at it, from both perspectives, but specifically for you on what to do. So I'm not going to go into talking to your friends like right here, but you do need to have a presentation, an elevator speech, as they say. You do need to somehow bring it up in conversation. I say to my students, there's 5 easy steps to get started. Go get some business cards, flamboyant green, pink, orange, purple, red, whatever color, and big fonts that say, I buy houses, any condition, any area, close fast. Here's my number. Get 250 cards, get rid of them as quick as possible. What's the address? When can I come see it? Go look at those properties. Tell the owner, no matter how ugly it is, how much you love their house. And then say, hey, let me go call my partners. I love your house. Let me see how I can make the numbers work. And then you run back and you call your dream team, or call your networking, or get on the Facebook group here and say, oh my God, I found one. He said, yes, he wants to sell it. And here's what he wants. And I don't know what to do now. So I teach my students to memorize the Fair Enough script. When I was selling Encyclopedia Britannica, I was introverted. I was crying. I was doing everything not to knock on the door, not to get on that telephone call and set appointments. I was really bad at it, but their training taught me to memorize. And so I have brought that to real estate and tell you guys, memorize some sort of Fair Enough script. You don't need to know everything to get started. It took me a year to do my first deal because I had no idea what real estate was. I didn't own a house. I didn't know what to do. I've just had a lot of sales background. Got Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I got Carlton Sheets, How to Buy Houses with Nothing Down. And it took me a year to get my first offer accepted, my first contract closed. So, and then it took me time, to get together and start networking and going to seminars and joining up, real estate investor groups. And that changed my life. It changed my life. And it still took time, but it changed my life. And so you'll see a little bit about my background. To answer the market question, Mike, the short sale specialist, loved your presentation, and he's absolutely right. ATTOM, Atom Data, that's the place to go, Black Knight, to really read the market conditions. Look at those guys. They're some of the biggest analytic data gatherers out there. So watch what they're telling you. And that's how you kind of know what's going on. I have a chart, I've done foreclosures consistently for over 20 years. And there's 3 stages. There's buying them direct from the seller and pre-foreclosure. There's buying them at the courthouse, inside or outside, depending on if you're judicial or non-judicial state. That's stage 2 foreclosure. You need all your cash, let's just say, to buy them there. And then post foreclosures, buying directly from the bank, REOs. Every one of those requires a different outlay of how you fund that deal. So primarily, I'm going to talk about that today, but this will apply to all types of deals. And so we'll go through that. In the last 20 years, it was since 2020, since 2000, actually, from 2000 to 2022, I could show you the graph of foreclosures. In 2000, it was way at the bottom. In 2007 and 8, the market crashed. 2009 and 10 and 11 were the top of the market. And then it came crashing back down in 2019, pre-pandemic. And then 20 and 21 was artificially below the line. We've had the lowest number of foreclosures ever because of the pandemic, because of the moratorium, because of the forbearance. And again, if you haven't seen the first presentation of the day, go back and watch Mike's presentation. He'll show you some of those graphs there. And, we're back on the rise. I'll just talk about Georgia for a second. Now I've been part of really big teams, and we bought and sold and I was brokering over 4,000 rental properties that we turned around and sold to Blackstone in 2013. But we bought them, we fixed them, we put tenants in them, we sold them turnkey to overseas investors. remember my first deal took me a year, by the way. So I kind of jumped all the way up to wow stage. That was, 1991, 2001, 15 years later, I jumped up to wow stage. But we were buying, fixing, and flipping thousands of properties in several different states. But in Georgia, we went from less than 20,000 foreclosures a year in 2000 to over 200,000 foreclosures a year in 2010. So that decade went like that. And now we came all the way back down. So 2018, 19, 2021, we've had somewhere between 8,000 for the entire state of Georgia up to 20,000 a year. For the entire state, which is absolutely ridiculously low. So just in the last 60 days, we've seen the foreclosures double already. So, but that's not saying a whole lot because we had such a low number. In the state of Georgia, from March 2020 through this is 22 through January, February, March, April 2022, there were less than 600 a month in the entire state. So we just finished, this is May 7th. So May 3rd was the auction, was the foreclosure auction for May. And then April 5th was the foreclosure auction. So April 5th, we had 1,203 foreclosures for the entire state of Georgia. And then in May 3rd, we had 1,180 foreclosures in the entire state. So for the decade prior to that, one county had that many or 3 times that many at the height of the market. So I know that foreclosures are going to go up. I read the media, I listen to the media, and I don't agree with a lot of what the media thinks and that there's not going to be a foreclosure tsunami. And there's a long conversation for all that. But from where we sit as individual investors, foreclosures are on the rise without a doubt. So you got to be prepared. If you're brand new in the business, again, it's tough to get some momentum. So again, going from South Atlanta REIA to REI USA, you guys have no idea what a gold mine you have in this mastermind group. So remember, this is your business, and to be the business owner, how do you even know where to start? How do you know where to go? You have to commit. And it's difficult. You have to draw a line between the balance of keep spending money on people's seminars and materials and getting out there and doing a deal. So you got to find the right people, as Mike number 2 said. I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot the last names. You have to be careful who you joint venture with. You have to be careful who you hook up with. So Stacy is such a giver. She gives back. She gives so much for what you're getting here. And the people that she surrounds herself with, us, the teachers, are big givers also. So anyway, there's all that. So you can see my screen, right? Here's again, getting started in the business, how to make it easy in a win-win situation. When you're trying to get somebody to partner with you, and I'm just going to say, generally speaking, partner with you, and let alone give you money to be your partner, you need to make it easy. You need to make it a win-win situation. So many times new investors approach me at some of these events and they say, oh, please, I just want to be, let's joint venture. And I say, well, tell me about your skill set. Tell me what you're bringing to the table. Well, I don't know. I'm just getting started. Well, why would I want to partner with you? And again, Mike was building his executive summary. If with his permission, take that executive summary and create yours. You're just brand new. It doesn't matter. Start with something. Create an executive summary. Who are you? What's your superpower? You may have been a nurse. You may have been in the military. You may have been an educator. You have something. I say everything leads to real estate. So everything leads to real estate. No matter what your superpower is, no matter what your heart's desire is, it pertains to real estate. And you have to figure that piece out. There's some things in real estate I absolutely don't ever want to do again. And then there's things I love. So you have to think about, what is your passion? And what about real estate's gonna click with you? So that's where you gotta go. And then when you're just getting started, you have to get your ducks in a row. Where's the money coming from? How do you write a contract? How do you do your deal analysis? You got to know your exit strategy. It's called reverse engineering. You can't make your offer without two important elements. Number one, what's the seller situation? Why are they selling? And what's the problem you're going to solve? That's all number one. And then number two, how are you going to make money with this? Well, what's your exit? Do you have to wholesale it because you have no money? Do you have to do a double closing, doing an assignment fee? Do you want to fix and flip it? Or do you want to buy and hold and make cash flow every month? You have to figure that out. So right there, that first little paragraph right there is get your training to figure out all of the answers to those questions. I told you my first deal took a year on my own. And I mean, it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. I don't want you to have to take that long. But like I said, once I started networking, joining investor groups, and this is what I was saying when Stacy said that about the reason she does this is to get in touch and be around all these other amazing people. I volunteered at the local REIA since 1993. And by the way, I hate crowds. I hate talking to strangers. I'm not good at shooting from the hip without working in the avenue that I'm trained in, right? So I'm doing all that to make myself be there. I didn't want to be there, but I needed to be there. So I volunteered. And by volunteering, I got to go to some seminars for free. And so all that was real good. And then I got some partners. I learned what my strengths were, and I learned what my weaknesses were. And I hitched my wagon to somebody whose strengths equaled my weakness. And you have to have a personality match too. It's very difficult. You got to make sure you can work together. I do want to caution you, write this down. Caution, caution, caution. When you're buying and holding properties, it's not a good idea to partner with somebody you don't know. So there are exceptions, but you've got to get past that learning curve of who you are, who they are. Again, someone said earlier too about you want silent partners, right? Or you need to be the silent partner. If you're a money person and you got $100,000 or $1 million, be that silent partner, but be smart. Don't just put up your money and you got a high risk. So there's such a balance to figure it out. Build your dream team. So let me tell you, everything I'm going to tell you is the most important thing I'm telling you. So the most important thing I'm going to tell you today is build your dream team, right? You need 2 or 3 good real estate agents on your team. So I'm a real estate investor. I also got my license back in 1994. So I'm a broker. I've brokered in many different states, and I share all of my revenue with all of my partners and all of my team. We build adult revenue. It's not, we used to pay W-2s by the hour, and I paid VAs by the hour, virtual assistants, but nobody else gets paid by the hour. Nobody gets paid to show up anymore. Everybody gets paid based on profit, based on results. Your dream team. So today we're talking about raising $100,000 in 100 days. One of the most important things you need to do to build your dream team is interview several different money sources. Okay, interview people with money. And as we go forward through the end, hopefully that'll make sense to you and you'll figure that out. Interview everyone for potential money partners or private lenders. As it's already been said, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at who has money just sitting there and they want it to make money. Real estate's a really good investment when you know what you're doing. It's a solid, it's a tangible investment. There's always something there that, versus investing in the stocks and the market crashes. It did say when you know what you're doing. So you got to be able to attract people with money as long as you know what you're doing. You need credibility. In the beginning, that's one of the hardest things to do is to build your own credibility. So everybody on my team says when they're out there marketing, we help with marketing pieces, and it says, My team has been helping families facing foreclosure for over 20 years. What's your situation? Tell me what happened. I'm so sorry to hear that. And we just keep on talking, about, tell me what happened. So when we're dealing direct to seller pre-foreclosures, we've been helping families in your same situation for over 20 years. Tell me what happened. What do you want to have happen? Like, are you just trying to walk away from the foreclosure, stop it so it's not on your record? Do you want to keep your house? Or are you trying to get the highest dollar you can for it? We can help you in any of those cases. And like Mike said, in short sales, we don't charge anybody up front. We don't add salt to a wound. We help a lot of families keep their houses, and we don't make money that moment. Hopefully later they come back to us or they send us other people. You need several sources. One thing you'll learn very quickly, that not every source will fund every project. You're not going to agree with you. They're not going to agree with you on everything. So, it's tolerance. Our tolerance level is very individual. So you need to find out what their tolerance level is. There is short-term, medium-term, and long-term money. You have to identify if your source is looking for a short-term return or a long-term return. Be realistic. Why would someone want to back your project? Like I was saying, what do you bring to the table? What's your superpower? One of my favorite people's on here, Angela. I love Angela. Anything that Angela and I could do together, I would love to do. We just have to, you find people that you connect with like that, and you figure out who's got what, who's handling what. And that's what you want to do, is first find those connections that you're really drawn to, and you feel like you're like-minded. That's very important. Let me look real quick here. HUD has a lot of no-nos about that. It's technically illegal to charge people up front unless you have, yeah, that's right. It's David's presentation on short sales. Thank you. Go Bills. Awesome. All right, guys. Funding in all three stages of foreclosure. So again, here's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Let me start there. Actually, I should have put that first. So pre-foreclosures is dealing direct with owners, right? We call this direct to seller. And then foreclosures is dealing directly, you're buying directly from the courthouse steps, inside or outside the courthouse. Post foreclosures, you're buying directly from the bank. So in funding, we're going to talk about those. Oftentimes I'll write POF. I need a POF. I need a proof of funds. So what you need to do is, one of your next most important steps is to get some proof of funds letters. I have a proof of funds letter from at least 2 different hard money lenders that says that me and or my LLC has a $1.5 million line of credit. And that just simply means that these guys are willing to lend me a whole lot of money based on the merit of the deal. But that's because, I've known them for a very long time. We've done deals together where they funded my deals and I paid them off in typically in 4 months or less, sometimes as long as 7 months. But I don't think I've ever personally had a hard money loan that I didn't pay off in 7 months or less. So my model, you also have to identify and know your model. Thank you, Christy. My model is I want to turn the money twice a year. I want my project not to take me from the purchase, the acquisition, to the disposition. These are flips or wholesale, doesn't matter. I want my project to be completed, bought and fixed and sold in 6 months or less. That's my goal. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it happens faster. Dion, what's Dion's question? Because I don't see the hand raised. Can Dion talk?
But maybe she accidentally did it. She put it down.
Okay. Thank you, though, for moderating. So proof of funds, you need to start interviewing, and I'm going to give you some resources at the bottom. And I think Stacy said at the beginning, too, that she had some. So you need to get proof of funds letters. Hi, John, I got your name from Darlene, and she said to ask you for a proof of funds letter. It's that simple. Hi, John. Darlene Coquerel, Queen of Foreclosure, she said to ask you for a proof of funds letter. And then the questions start and the process starts. Don't be afraid for somebody to pull your credit, guys. if you know your credit, you say, look, before I get you to pull my credit, let me find out what it is you guys do, what you offer, and whether or not I really want to move forward. You need to prepare and have proof of funds letters in order to be considered a strong performer when you put an offer out there. So that's kind of like the most important thing. Financing, pre-approval letters, same thing. If you're gonna buy and hold, then you need to talk to some investor type loan lenders. They're typically going to say that you need 25% down, so be prepared, and you need to get a pre-approval letter so that you need to find out what is it that they require in order to fund your rental property that you're just now purchasing and you have no seasoning. You need to find out what the seasoning issues are, requirements, those things. Private funds. I can promise my partners 15% or more annualized return because I turn the money twice a year. I try not to pop the tops, and that means take a 1954 750 square foot house and add a second floor. I try not to do those deals. Now, if I do them, my partner needs to be the expert in that area geographically and be able to handle that renovation, because I'm not going to do it. So figure out what your motto is. When I ask people, I say, look, I want to go to the steps. I need $3 million to deploy $1 million. And, I want to go to the steps to buy foreclosures. And here's the plan. We're going to wholesale them, flip them, or, buy, put a tenant and sell the rental property. And the reason I say I can give them 15% or more annualized, and I'm going to get the same thing, because if I turn that money twice a year, each deal that I flip, I'm only making 10 to 15% profit, net profit. But if we do two of those, that's 20 to 30%, right? So we target 15%. Sometimes we miss it and get a little bit. Oftentimes we make a lot more than that. But so that's kind of what I promised them. I would give them at least 15% annualized return. Where else can they get a promise like that? And I've got a track record. So again, go back to your dream team. Something you learn early on is sometimes you need to partner 1, 2, 3, 4 deals before you can do your own. If you haven't done any yet. I've got one student in Pennsylvania, and he's partnering with me down here in Georgia on pre-foreclosures. And he's been in my coaching program for 2 years now. On his own, he did 0 deals. Together, we are on deal number 5. And he is so super happy. He's more of a passive partner. He's semi-passive, and he's learning everything along the way. I suspect next year we're going to have a different relationship where maybe he just funds deals and we bring all the boots on the ground to the table. So, or he goes his own way and he knows enough how to do it on his own. But it's important to find those partners, figure that out. OPM, other people's money, IRAs. They want to invest. They cannot invest in their own business. They need you. They need your deals to invest in. And then this is a big subject right here, creative deal structuring. And again, Stacy has a lot on her website, on the members area to do some studying on this. Creative deal structuring, when you don't have money, you learn how to do seller financing and subject to and joint venture with money partners or leverage other people's properties. You could do lease options and options, partner with the seller. We just had 2 closings. One's a subject to deal down in South Georgia, and it cost us $13,000 cash, and we're taking over payments. That's subject to. The second one we just did, the guy said, I want 270, I want 270, I want 270, all cash at closing. We ended up doing 235. We gave him $40,000 cash at closing, and we got him to do a wraparound mortgage and take 25% of the net profit at closing. We both took some risk on that deal. I don't want to take all the risk. Wholesaling, double closings where you can use transactional funds. Some cases you can only use, you don't even need your own funds. You use the buyer's funds, wholesaling assignments, things like that. So lots of good opportunities there that you have to learn how to get good at. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Any questions or comments? All I have left is I do have resources for you. This is Rick Gerges. He's here locally in Georgia, but I know he does Georgia and Florida for residential properties, all states if you have a commercial property. Here's some folks that will give you referrals. I know Jamie and I have done several subject to deals together. And so sometimes what you do on the front end is creative financing, and you turn around and refinance it with somebody like Rick. AHP Partners, now they'll do a couple different states. I don't know how far outside of Georgia they'll go, but like touching states, South Carolina, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, maybe North Carolina. But Atlanta Home Partners, I do a lot of business with them. I'll add their phone numbers in here. Like I said, you can email me for a copy of this if you want. Vizio Lending, again, you can see they're out of Texas. They do a 30-year no doc landlord loans. This is a good loan. This is, you want to, if you're buying and holding, you want to get in contact with people like this. And this is a moving target. Right now, we're in the process of interest rates going up. So you got to constantly contact these folks every 3 to 6 months. 30-year no doc loans, 75% loan to value, cash out, 230 days seasoning. Again, you just have to ask them all those details. This is some of what they do. Kogo Capital, private money company. Here, these guys do Airbnb, no doc loans. If you're going to buy an Airbnb or you're going to create an Airbnb, long-term rentals, no doc loans. There was a time when no doc loans went away, so they're back. These guys do anywhere from 100,000 to over 300 million Sims. Stratton Equities, no doc rental loans, hard money, non-qualifying, no upfront fees, fix and flip, starting at this rate, rental loans starting at this rate, all kind of options. So that's kind of what I wanted to do, is just be able to give out a lot of good stuff. And then there's me, Queen of Foreclosures. We look at deals in all areas. We'll joint venture. Typically my preference as a joint venture is 50-50 together, but it could be 75 to you, 25 to us, or 25 to you, 75 to us. We're real easy to work with. It all depends, once again, what you're bringing to the table. Bird dog fees. Sometimes we get Uber drivers and we get meter readers, and we get those guys that go out there and put out flags that says, call before you dig. Drivers, or even, postal service. These guys know where all the vacant properties are. If you want to start here and you're afraid to do your first deal, we're happy to do that, but we prefer to try to at least get you here. I'm going to push you to stay in the deal. We'll do most everything and give you 25% of it. If you have a tribe, we can create your campaigns. Some of you speakers, for example, this is my website, ultimateforeclosureformula.com. We do have free pre-foreclosure leads there. So if you go, let's say, here's the homepage, ultimateforeclosureformula.com, and click on services. Here's where you go to pre-foreclosure leads, right? And then we'll give you 100 pre-foreclosure leads. In Georgia, you just put your zip codes in here, and you can put as many zip codes on a line as you want. We'll just send you everything. So that's what you do for Georgia. If you're looking for other areas, once again, you went to Ultimate Foreclosure Formula, you clicked on services, clicked on pre-foreclosure leads, and you get to this page. And then here, if you're looking for other areas, just go here and then put your information in. Another thing you'll notice when you click on services, free consultation. If you guys are really ready to be in the business, I'll spend 50 minutes on the phone with you. Feel free to just click on investor consultation. It'll bring up my calendar. And I'm more than happy to whatever you guys need. That's the best way to reach me. And then I got one more exciting thing, and I know I ran out of time. You could grab this QR code right here. We created, if you're really getting started, we created an opportunity right here for you guys. And that is, if you go out there and find vacant properties and you're willing to put your email address in here and all the information, we'll skip trace it. These are ones you do not have the seller's information. We'll skip trace the lead for you. We'll provide you with phone numbers and email addresses that you find. And then we'll even send out the first couple text messages and emails to see if they want to sell their house. We spent a lot of money to do this, and we're in beta mode. So we're not charging anybody for this. We'd love to have a finder's fee or be part of the deal with you. But anyhow, we just rolled this out with our first door knocking event last month and just wanted to make it available. So there's that. But anyway, support at Darby's Houses is my email. Get some pre-foreclosure leads, or if you go out there and start driving for dollars and find some deals, we'll work them with you. It's huge. I'm so excited that we finally got this up and running. Next year, we'll be charging monthly for that service. That we'll do the skip tracing. We'll do your text campaign, your email campaign, all that. But finding the money sometimes to do your first deal or two, just be that person that comes along for the ride. But we don't take deadbeats, nobody out there. If you call Mike Watkins or you call David, you're going to have to do something to get that partner's attention to want to be on board with you.
Tell everybody real fast, Darlene, when you teach for REI USA too.
Yep. Thanks. The fourth Tuesday night, you're right. It's the ultimate foreclosure formula. We go into all different stages of foreclosure. So it's the fourth Tuesday every month, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and bring your deals. We'll do deals. We'll look at a deal together. I have office hours with my team, with my coaching, and we have office hours on Friday mornings and Tuesday afternoons. And we get on the phone with sellers. We get on the phone with lenders and sellers. And, we do all, and we get on MLS and we start crunching numbers, and we look at offers, contracts, whatever it is you need, we could do that. Okay. But yeah, I'd love to. I think our next session is May 24th. And I think I'm going to do auction bidding.
Oh, good.
I'm going to do the REO Stage 3 auction bidding.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for hopping on.
Thank you for listening to this episode of REI USA. Let these golden pieces of advice clear your path towards thriving real estate success and start making those amazing financial opportunities work for you. If you liked this episode and want to get more of these valuable secrets, be sure to subscribe to the show at www.rei-usa.com. Leave a rating too and share with your friends. Until next time.